So, okay, let's start with the basics. Like, okay, today's area is going to be to understand like what are the darks and what are the lights and color. So this particular patch I have chosen over here is night mode. It's something that you can explore in this particular palette only. You can just try and see how. So I'll be like trying and like having some sort of values according to this particular palette over here. And similarly, on the opposite side, what I'll be doing over here is I'll try the warm values. Now this is red, orange, and yellow in the middle. Now there are two different variations of like how you can play around with these color palettes. So let me start with a very basic uh, layer. I'll be choosing color in this particular blending option. You can see like a lot of options are there. So normal is the very basic. Whenever you press new layer, like it will create a normal version. But what I'll be doing is that I'll be adding a color blending option on this. And then I'll start with uh, this particular scene. So what I've done over here is that I have added like a bounding box, a selective a bounding box, which you can get from here. And I'll be hiding it with Control H. Now I have color blended option, and now like there is a hidden selection on this. And I'll be choosing airbrush over here. So it's a bit of like big size. Now what I'll do is I'll try and manage from these colors that I've added over here. I'll try and see where colors are making more sense. Now I see like the sand area would be a bit more brighter. So I'll be keeping this area for a bit lighter tones. Now I'll try and add some vegetation with greenery. Now how this will help is basically is that it's just going to have a basic value for that particular area. Can be very simple, not too much detail. This can be a different uh, variation of green. You don't have to use just this particular green. So this is more towards a drier side for a greenery. But then when you see like dense forest or vegetation, you will see more of a saturated bluish green, turquoise blue, and in that area. So you need to like focus, okay, which color I need to like apply for these, and then continue from there. So I prefer airbrush because it's very simple and easy to like apply. Now see what I've done over here, I'm picking again like using that alt button. It saves a lot of time. So yeah, this would be a good practice. Always use alt for color picking and then try and apply that same value over here. Yeah, no big deal. So you can see like a different variation, like this is more towards yellow. Now I'll show you like what sort of transition it takes. Now what I'm doing over here is I'm going towards to the warmer side, which is more towards red and orange. Now what this does is that the sun rays that we get from right side, that is going to add the warmth in this greenery. So I'll show you like what how it makes a difference. So you can automatically see that this area looks more brighter, like sun-kissed, And I'll show you the shadow area as well, like how. So usually I prefer blue and violet. You can use that, but that's basically just for the extreme darker values. But mostly I play around with this particular cyan to ultramarine, and that usually helps a lot. So I'll go with, let's say, this particular tone. And I'll add some, I'll take one more layer, put it on overlay, and try and keep that balanced area. You can always play around with different color tones as well, but you need to like pick from here and there so that it follows the same profile of hue. Now I'll try and pick color for submarine. So I'll just make the selection for that area. Very rough selection. Yeah. Control H, hiding it, adding some orange color on top of it. Maybe, yeah, come from here, maybe. Yeah. Take one more layer, put it on color. Now let's start with sky blue. What I've done here is same. It's a color blending mode, and I'm using sky blue, this color over here, to add like saturation to the background. Yeah. Now what you can do is like, so the more you go on top, it usually gets a bit darker, but what you can also try in that color palette is this particular area, ultramarine blue, like a bit to the darker side. You can try this version and just add a little bit of area to have an understanding. Maybe this area is on the blue side, on the darker side. I'll take one more layer, and what I'll do next is, let's start with overlay. I want to go with a bit of more warmer color palette over here. So what I'll do is take a bounding box, select in this much of area, press Alt, and then like you can cut out the area which is not required. Now what I've done is that I have placed that particular sunlight at the bottom so that it has a lot of contrast to the ground and sky. So I'll continue adding more layers. Maybe let's start with darken. So with this is that I have picked like this particular color over here, and that's going to add the same value. So I'm choosing right now color dodge. Color dodge is what basically used for, it's just adding like stark brightness to that particular area. So I'm adding this area where the highlight is hitting the most, and also the sand quality. Now let's start with darker. Same process, create a bounding box and hide it. Picking colors from here. Now, since this is a normal mode, what we have to do is just make it darken, and then it applies the value accordingly. So you'll see more of the bottom would be on the brighter side. So that would make a lot of contrast from the ground. So what I'm doing over here is I'll be adding the bottom area with a lot of mist. This will create a lot of contrast for this particular area and this sky area. So you can add some blue elements. Yeah, that looks nice. What this particular area is going to be is the darkest. You won't see any fog over here. You will mostly see to the distance. Now you can also separate from here as well. So what this does is also like it gives you a sort of feel where there is mist in between these foliage and the trees at the back. It helps you to understand, okay, so these are the areas where it's in distance. You can even push this back a bit. That's okay. Maybe we can make this area brightest. Maybe there is light coming from inside. So we can choose any different color. Let's say we go with this warm tone. So light would be, so light source would be somewhere over here. So what we need to show is merging of these two colors. This would be the sky depth and this would be area of light. So you can make this area more brighter. Yeah, it would look like there is someone living inside. So I'll go with the hard round brush over here. Just quickly add these lights over here. Yeah, this would be wire. Just to the middle. Now what you can do is like you can have one more layer on top and set this on screen. Now I'll go with a bit of darker tone over here. Try and add the light source. You'll also see there will be like highlights on surface as well. So you can pick color from here and just lay it on the ground. Not easy. Yeah. I want to have more contrast from the background. So what I'll do is I'll create sky with the backdrop that creates a lot of contrast in between these two layers. Check from here and then go to the top. See the difference of like contrast, how it actually like creates at the bottom over here. You can see like there is a lot of like mist around here, and you can even extend it from here if you want. So this is the water area where I can show like some sort of highlight of the shores here. You can create contrast like that. Let's say you don't want to waste your time like selecting each and every like area and then draw onto it. But what you can do over here is that this is this particular layer on darken. When you move your cursor over here and press Control, you'll see the difference of the selection. Go to this particular thumbnail, press on Control, or keep it on hold, and just tap on it. It gives you the selection of that particular layer. That basically saves you a bit of time. I wouldn't say much, but it saves you a bit of time, and then you can select inverse, and you can try a new layer on top of it. Maybe you want to add an overlay on top since you have color already as a background. So let's try and add a bit of yellow because skull. It's just showcase very minimal highlight for that. You don't have to go all the way yellow because since this is going to be in the night mode, you won't see a lot of reflection of the surface. So colors won't reflect that much. Okay. So what we'll do is like we'll add some more blues to the background, the further background, using the same color treatment that we have used earlier. We'll also keep it for the bottom as well so that you can see also mist displaying its part. So what I'm erasing is that this area is going to be the darker because we already have this as a highlight on top of it. So I'm just erasing from one end to like other. Now I want to add similar treatment to that light. So it's from the inside. Yeah, so we can start with the warm colors again over here. Take a new layer, put it on screen. Now accordingly take a new layer and then we choose color dodge. Try that. If it works, it works. Since the light direction is gonna be like it's gonna work this way, so it's this surface will be more visible for the highlights. Now maybe I wanna add more of an overlay of violet. Let's say you want to switch your color palette a bit. So you can add like this, add some more contrast. The values play a lot of part, like see this area, this area. This is more to the darker value. You can see the patch over here. This is still to a bit of like lighter value, and this would be to the extreme. You can already see it merging with the sky. So it depends like how we want to like create that variation in distance. So it's extremely important to like make these color swatches. So let's say if I have to like pick colors from here, I would pick like this is the main color, create this value. Uh, so you're seeing like it's the same value going from left to right, but it's more, this is more towards the light side and this is more towards the darker side. So it's just a play of all these colors and like maybe just in between. Let's say this is more towards the violet side. You'll see like cursor would go more towards here because we have added some violets like to all to this side. And when you'll pick from here, the cursor will automatically go towards here, which is more to the cyan side. You have to use a lot of layers in terms of like experimentation. Otherwise, what happens that you'll be stuck in just one particular layer. It's always important to like have different layers, like overlay, maybe use screen if nothing works, or maybe try a different thumbnail so that it has like more value, like learn from there. So what I've done over here, this is the blue, which is going to be a reflection of this sky. I'll add more details, but let's say keep this area but more to the blue. I'm only showing this area for the highlight, so I'll keep it very minimal to this. Now you can see the difference is. Let me show you first. It's a very simple technique. This area is affected with the sunlight, so this area is going to have the most highlight point. You can even showcase like just one drop of highlight over here just to make sure. And the difference over here, this reflection is going to be the sky. Now, this area is going to be very merging like with like warm tones. This area is going to have the most highlight. Then there is a graduation from there, and then you'll be coming to this particular highlight, which is darker like this. You can see the difference. This is light, this is dark, as simple as that, but this area is going to be a reflection of sky. And one last color correction I usually do is um, color dodge. I'm sure like a lot of artists use this particular technique. But color dodge only works when you have your actual values on spot. What color dodge does, it's like cherry on top. It's not by itself, it's just like cherry on top. So what you need to focus on is adding the main color values and then focus on this awesome color dodge. This is the difference that we have achieved. These two are in warm and these two are in darks. So you can clearly see the difference. It's both different scenario, both different composition, but the mood can be both way around. It can be dark as well. It can be like light and warms as well. So it's up to you, like how you want to choose your light direction. So